Okay, I've put the schools class up on end. I'm trying to find where this air leak is. I've put washing up liquid and water, sprayed it over the cylinder here, and I'm going to try and see. Well, I've shut the regulator, put some air in the boiler, and then I will. Oh, you can see that? It's coming from between the cylinder block and the cladding. The first two drain cocks came out fairly easily. Just needed a bit of spanner on them to get them to move. But this middle drain cock is actually the drain cock for the centre cylinder. But it looks like the pipes have just been glued in situ. No proper joint there. I need to see how I can get them out. Right, you can see from the left hand side that what holds the cladding in place on the cylinders is the screws that hold the drain cock control linkage. So I've taken those screws out, moved the drain cocks out of the way, and then the dummy rivets, well, they are rivets, they're just pushed into the block and glued in. So by prying them out, I've managed to pull back the liner. And when you look inside, I don't know how well you can see, there you go. There's a sodding great hole straight into the steam ports between the valve and the cylinder. So now I need to decide what we're going to do about that. Right, I've cleaned up the hole. In actual fact, while I was cleaning up and pulling the casing open, I found a bit of bronze which I'm assuming came out the hole. So maybe it wasn't put together like that in the first place. It was confusing me that I wondered why it had been finished with a hole in the cylinder. But I've cleaned it up because there's a lot of work involved in getting proper access to the cylinder and getting the cylinder off. As you can see, the bolts are not really accessible. These ones especially. It means a complete strip down of the cylinder to even get before I can take the cylinder off. Ideally I would solder a patch over there, but I'm going to try something I never thought I would try before. Just as a quick repair, we'll see how well it works. If it works, it doesn't, it does. If it doesn't, I'll be taking it apart to do it again anyway. See, I've already squeezed out equal parts of the two parts. Now to mix them up and try and make a decent cover over that hole, and then we'll see what happens. And there we have it. I have got a good covering of the JB Weld over the hole, and like I say, this is not my preferred method of repair for various reasons, but under the circumstances, with the quality of the workmanship on the engine and how difficult it would be to strip down while not damaging it, it sort of became my only real option at the moment. I'm prepared to strip it down and do it again if this isn't working. but we'll see what happens. So I've put the drain cocks back on. The bracket holding the linkage, operating linkage, was slightly bent and it was just gripping the shaft, and so that wasn't moving properly, so I've tweaked that so that moves better. There's not a lot of movement on those drain cocks. I'm going to put the bogie back on and then put it back on the bench to run it nicely on air for a little while. Let some more get around it and hopefully it'll run a lot nicer now. So the bogey's back on, but I just thought I'd mention while I'm down here, these pipes, because they're all so small, the nut on the side is only a dummy nut and the pipes are just pushed in and glued in. As you can see, that front one is coming out again. What they really want is soldering in place, but if you solder them in place you'll never be able to unwind them again. It's a tricky one. So we've got air in it, seems to be running, touch lumpy on £20, but she's going. All seems good except for a tweak on the timing, unless it's just tight. We'll have a bit of that'll do for now. We'll see how we go. So with, what's that, £40 on the clock, open the regulator, so timing's out, but not too bad.